Now, my goal obviously is to make the most of this 45 minutes. In the 45 minutes that we have, folks, my goal is to really give you all a proper expectation as far as what you can expect as a Forex investor. I know that we have people in the room that trade all different, all different kinds of markets, and from stocks to options to, I mean, I can go on and on, but obviously I do absolutely love the Forex market. And so what I want to show you today when we get into the live market here in just a few minutes is I want to actually talk about a strategy, a method of trading, a way that you can literally take advantage of market movement early on in the morning to basically, if you read the title, it says trading daily highs and lows for same-day returns, also known as the one in breakout strategy. And so as we move along, we'll talk more about that, but I do have to give you the good old disclaimer that trading does have its own form of risk involved. So you should never invest money that you cannot afford to lose, and you always want to trade with equity management in mind. There is no such thing as an undefeated season. You may incur losses from time to time, but the key is to keep your profits high and have minimal losses. Now, Reed obviously did a great job with the introduction. I appreciate that, my friend. And once again, I did basically, do what the system of life tells you to do. Go to school, study hard, grades. And so I did that. Grew up in Orlando, Florida. Went to UCF. Went to University of Miami School of Law. And I was in my 20s when I really just kind of, it just kind of dawned upon me that, all right, this is not what it's really cut out to be. I want to be financially independent and be able to travel and, surf and just do the things that I love. But I was making just enough to pay my bills, and that was it. And so ultimately, that's how I was introduced to the Forex market, to trading in general, and here I am today. So once again, Reed talked about that, so I don't want to spend too much time on my story. But once again, everybody has their story, as far as how you were introduced to the market and why you're here today. Now, the company that's going to be backing you, they are MTI, and that stands for Market Traders Institute, and we are an education company. And I will let you know, folks, that what's pretty awesome is I'm very big on credibility. I'm very big on, taking a look at the credibility factor when it comes to, all right, if I'm going to listen to somebody, if I'm going to learn from somebody or learn from a company, what have they accomplished, what have they been able to produce and do. And what's cool is that you notice that it says, there's a big logo there that says 21. What's awesome is that this month marks our 22-year anniversary because obviously it is April. And so we've been around for 22 years. We are based out of Lake Mary / Orlando, Florida, and we do have over 30,000 students from all corners of the globe. We are nominated year after year as one of the best companies to work for, best trading platforms, and I can go on and on. But once again, why am I telling you this? Because it all falls on credibility. Now, one more thing I want to talk about is success when it comes to trading the market. Every single quarter, brokers, they have to basically do their analysis. And I don't know how many of you are aware of this, but the average Forex trader claims that they're only about 33% profitable. And that's fairly dismal if you ask me. I didn't make this up. This is from data collected every quarter by brokers via a survey. Well, we did the same thing here at MTI, except for all of our students. And here was the difference, is that MTI students were 85% more profitable, than the average trader out there. And once again, it all falls on credibility. However, one thing I want to talk about right now, because I'm going to pull up my charts here in the next probably 2 minutes or so, is not only do we have some of the absolute best, instructors and strategies, but we also have some of the best analysts and traders in the Forex industry. And one specific instructor I want to make note of is Josh Martinez. He's also known as the FX Pathfinder. Now, he is one of our product experts, and the reason I'm letting you know about, for those of you wondering, who is he, why are you letting us know about him, you're the one basically teaching us today, well, it's because this is the gentleman that for the most part, taught me what I'm going to be showing you today. He is one of my personal coaches. For those of you that like what you see, you're going to have the ability to actually plug into different sessions, into different lessons and training sessions that we have live. That you can actually plug in with him for those of you that do like what you see. However, he has trained thousands of Forex investors. He's turned an initial deposit investment of $500 into generated over $39,000 of profit, made thousands of Forex investments, published author, international speaker, pro analyst, and a full-time trader. Now, to give you an idea of a realistic track record, okay? For example, back in June 5th, 2011, he opened up a trading account with just $500 US. And what this gave him the ability to do was to trade with a micro position. And when he first started trading, maybe like many of you, he was only making around $2 to $5 per trade and losing $2 to $5 per trade. And I could definitely relate to that as well. But when he started to go into the education that MTI offers, he started noticing patterns in the market. Now, if we fast forward, he was able to take time compounding, build residual income, and through the course, when he was able to, obviously he put more money in. And this is what allowed him to see higher returns, higher daily returns of up to $4,000 to $5,000 per day in profits. He was even withdrawing $10,000 at a time, and what once took him 6 months, working 5.5 days a week to make as a personal trainer, he was now doing it in one single day. But I want to ask all of you a very honest question. How many of you would like to learn this skill? You know, type in yes or me if you would honestly like to get to a point where you can actually see these type of results no matter where you're at and where, you know, whatever you've been able to accomplish. Now, one more thing that I do want to, in fact, talk about is a graph. And once again, one thing I didn't tell you early on that I will say now is I personally like to look at, you know, verified track records and things of that nature. And so if you take a look at his track record, which is third-party verified, you'll see that he has a gain of 4,548.82% return on his initial deposit investment. Now, if you take a look at the bottom of the screen, you'll notice the graph of his growth. It shows that he was making money and losing money, and all of a sudden things absolutely just spiked and took off in September of 2012. We like to call this a tipping point, and that's what I'm here for today, is to show you the exact strategy, or one of them at least, that's really been able to assist Josh and myself in finding our tipping points to help you and assist you in finding your tipping points faster. So let me go ahead and pull up the chart, get into it, and I'm going to go ahead and ask each and every one of you if you could please type in a Y for yes when you see my charts up on your screen. Let me go ahead and grab those real quick. All right. Once again, I'm just pulling them up right now. All right, there we go. All right, they were in fact on a different monitor, so 1 second here. All right, so once again, if everyone can see my charts, let me know. I just got them pulled up. All right, good stuff. Thanks, everybody. And all right, now everyone should be good. All right, thank you, everyone. Dirk, Tamar, Lawrence, Jim, Barry, Mohammed, everyone should be good to go. It was actually, I did actually pause my screen for a moment so I could pull them up. All right, so once again, what you're looking at right now, folks, is this is our ultimate charting software. This is proprietary to us here at MTI. This is the charting software that we are going to provide all of our students with here at MTI who do decide to, once again, enroll in our Ultimate Traders Package On-Demand program. Now, one of the things that I want you to do right out of the gate is I want you to write down all 6 of these currency pairs. You'll notice these are all Great British Pound crosses. We have the Pound Aussie, the Pound Japanese Yen, Pound Canadian, Pound New Zealand, Pound Swiss franc, and the Pound US dollar. Now, you'll also notice that these are all on a 1-hour time frame. Now, a lot of you are going to wonder and ask me, Michael, can we use this strategy on, you know, multiple currencies? And I'm not going to say no, but I'm also going to let you know that I specifically, personally use this strategy with the pound specifically. So I'm not going to tell you you can't, but I am going to tell you there's a reason why we do what we're about to do with the pound. Now, once again, folks, with that being said, the first thing I want to do is let me just go ahead and pull up the pound JPY. So we're going to go with the Great British Pound against the Japanese Yen on a 1-hour time frame. And the very first thing that I want you all to understand is I want you to know how the market moves. And it's very basic, fundamental movement. The market's going to move in a wave-like pattern that's going to do this over and over and over again. Now, you'll notice the market's going to form lows, the market's going to form highs, the market's going to form lows and highs and lows and highs, and it's going to do this over and over and over again. However, if you really look closely at what the market's doing, it's actually forming lower lows and lower highs, lower lows and lower highs, lower lows and lower highs, and then it goes up. It's going to form higher highs and higher lows, similar to this, right? And so what goes up must come down, and what goes down must come up. It's just the nature of the beast. It's what's going to happen. And the beautiful thing about the Forex market that I personally love is that you only have two options. You're either buying or selling, and that's it. Y'all with me on that? And so, one of the things, like I said, about, the one thing I like about the Forex market compared to, because I do trade options as well, but one of the things I love about the Forex compared to other markets, not putting any other market down, is that, like I said, it's a buy or sell market. So you have a yeah, of course, it's like any other market, but literally that's all you have. Those are the only two options. You're either buying or selling. So understand that you have a 50-50 chance of being right or being wrong just by simply guessing, which means that if you add a decent strategy to the mix, how many of you agree with me that the percentage will fall highly in your favor just by simply adding a decent strategy to it, right? So what I want to do right now is let's go ahead and I want to actually demonstrate this for you, show you what we're doing, go over the strategy with you on a blank part of the charts, so it's a little bit easier to understand, and then we are, of course, going to actually apply them to the market. And the very first thing that I want to talk about is I want all of you to understand one little basic thing, and let me go ahead and actually increase the size of this so it's a little bit easier to see. All right, there we go. Okay, so once again, let's go ahead and do it now. Okay, so one of the things that I want you to understand about the market is that the market is going to basically, for the most part, it's going to repeat itself over and over and over again. And one of the neat things that I love about the market is that the market is going to provide you with what we call a high and or low. Now, it will basically provide you with a high and or a low, typically 2 times a day. Now, you could argue that it's going to provide you with more highs or lows, and you actually could be right, referring to what you're actually referencing. However, there's 2 main high or lows that the market's going to provide for you. And let's just go ahead and cover the time. So the first high or low will typically form between the hours of 2 a.m. Eastern Time and 5 a.m. Eastern Time. Okay? So that's, once again, that's the first high or low of the day between 2 a.m. and 5 a.m. Eastern Time. Now, the second high or low of the day, that is going to form anywhere between the hours of 8 a.m. Eastern Time and 2 p.m. Eastern Time. Now, how many of you, type in a Y for yes, if you agree that the first high or low of the day would be much, much easier to find than the second high or low of the day, because the first high or low of the day, you have a 3-hour gap in time opposed to a 6-hour gap in time. Yes? How many of you would agree with me on that? So the first thing I want you to understand about the strategy is we are going to be focusing in specifically on the first high or low of the day between the hours of 2 a.m. and 5 a.m. Now, next thing I want you to, next thing for those of you taking notes, next thing I want you to understand is that we are going to be focusing in on a specific candle, and that is going to be the 3 a.m. candle that we're going to actually wait for. It's going to determine what we're going to actually do, and it will make more sense when I actually get back to that and actually apply it and show you what I'm referring to. Now, the next thing I want you to know is that, and this is very important to understand, because the distance covered between the low and the high, or the high and the low of the day, this is known as average daily trading range. A lot of you are familiar with the term, obviously, right? But let me just go ahead and type this out for you, average daily trading range. Now, the average daily trading range, right now with the Forex market is, I'm going to say it's anywhere between 50 pips, oops, there we go, 50 pips and 200 pips. Excuse me. Now, one of the things, and by the way, that's depending, okay, that's within a single day depending on market fluctuation. Now, we're going to be focusing in on going after a minimum of 50 pips, okay? So once again, we could be going after more than 50 pips. However, we will not be going after less than 50 pips, all right? So at a minimum, we're going after 50 pips. Now, let's talk about profit. Let's talk about return on investment. And by the way, Paul, I'm going to talk about that, my friend. He's asking, what time exactly is the 3 a.m. candle, the beginning or the end of the hour? And Paul, I'm going to get into that next, okay, my friend? But let me cover one more thing before I talk about that, Paul. And I want to talk about basically your profit. You know, your profit in this market, folks, it's really going to depend. And when I say it depends, here's what I mean. There's 3 major lot sizes, okay, traded in the Forex market. Depending on your investment, that will determine what your ROI will be. Now, let's get into this real quickly so we can apply all this to the actual charts. So the very first basic, smallest lot size you can enter into is known as a micro lot. a micro lot is a $20 investment, and 1 pip is basically worth 10 cents. Okay? Now, the second lot size, this is going to be known as a mini lot. A mini lot is a $200 investment, and 1 pip is worth $1. And finally, you have the largest lot size available. This is known as a standard lot. A standard lot is a $2,000 investment. 1 pip is worth $10. Now, with that being said, folks, let me go ahead and correct that real quick. All right. Now, one of the beautiful things about this market is that we trade with leverage, right? A lot of you are aware of what leverage is. For those of you that are not, just if you're taking notes, make sure that you write this down. Leverage equals buying power, okay? That's it. Leverage equals buying power. We have leverage. Here in the U.S., for example, we trade with a 50-to-1 leverage, and everything I'm going to be showing you as we move along is going to be as if we're trading with a standard lot. That's the example I'm going to use as we move along. And so if I tell you that we captured 50 pips, and I tell you that 50 pips equates to 500 US dollars, that is because I'm using a standard lot as the example, and I'm not getting into broker fees, spreads, margins, or anything like that. For those of you that get pretty detailed and technical, it just depends on your broker, but I'm not getting that detailed for the sake of time. Okay. So as we move along, let's move on. Just some takeaways. We're focusing on the first higher low of the day. 3 a.m. candle is the candle we're focusing on. We're going after a minimum of 50 pips. Could be more, but it will not be less. And we are going to be utilizing a standard lot as the example. Okay. So let's, everybody good? Let me get a Y for yes. If you're good, everyone doing awesome. Let's go ahead and clean this up. Let's delete all this, and I am going to move on. All right? All right, good stuff. Thanks, everybody, for the confirmation there. All right, so let's go ahead and get right into things. Now, first thing I want you all to take a look at, the very first thing that I want you all to notice is I want you to take a look at this downtrend, for example, all right? Now, when you look at this downtrend, obviously you notice the market is, in fact, forming lower lows and lower highs, lower lows and lower highs, lower lows and lower highs, and it's doing this over and over and over again. However, what I really want you all to focus on is I want you to take a look at, and I'm gonna go ahead and just start with the first 3 a.m. candle that I find. All right, so take a look right here. Does everybody see this 3 a.m. candle right there? Let me get a Y for yes. If everyone does in fact see this 3 a.m. candle right there. Oops. Let me go ahead and find it again. Okay, everyone see that? It's lit up red, says 3 a.m. Well, do you notice how there's a directional push down, going down towards the south from that candle? Everyone see that? So within a few hours, you notice the market is actually moving down towards the south. Now, if we go ahead and measure pips, I'm going to go ahead and grab my ruler tool. I want to measure from right here to right there. How many of you, I want you all to take a look at the top left-hand side of your screen. Does everybody see the little 4 lines of data that appear? Top left-hand side. Look at the third line down where it says range with pips and parentheses. Can everyone type in the number that they see? And don't worry about the decimal place. Just type in the main number 130 if you see it. Not because I said it, but if you see it. Anthony, good job. Tamar, Harry, James, Lawrence, good stuff. So that's telling us, so 4 lines of information, right? The first line is the date, the time, and the price we got in. Second line is the date, time, price we got out. Third line is how many pips we captured. Fourth line is bars, right? So it's saying if we're on a 1-hour time frame and it says 8 bars, that means that it took 8 hours to fulfill, right? So 130 pips would equate to $1,300 standard position. Now, if we go ahead and move along, I can sit here and do this all day long. And by the way, one thing I want you to know is, well, for the record, does everyone see this 3 a.m. candle right here? All right, do you notice how right at the 3 a.m. candle, do you directional push going down towards the south once again? Yes or no? All right, so once again, take a look right here, 3 a.m., market moves in a downward manner. And once again, folks, if we take a look, the market basically moved 130 pips again in a matter of 4 hours. And so, moral of the story, folks, why am I showing you this over and over and over again? Is because I want you to understand that at 3 a.m., the market is going to move, typically going to move in an upward or downward direction, and there's a reason behind it, all right? So let's go ahead and move on. Let me show you how to apply the strategy and what exactly are we doing here. And as we go ahead and move along, All right, let me advance this along here so we can get closer to live market, of course. All right, now let me take a look. Okay, it's too far back. I want to get a little bit closer to live market, obviously, and show you how this works. Okay, so first thing I want everybody to understand. First thing I want everyone to do, especially for those of you that are in fact taking notes, is I want you to notice how I am going to advance the market forward, and I want to start at a closer time. Okay, let's start right here. Okay, now I'm going to advance it forward, and boom. Okay, so first thing, does everyone agree with me that we are? All right, so first thing we're going to do, the very, very first thing we're going to do when we apply the strategy is the moment we identify our 3 a.m. candle, and I'm going to type this out for you once again, 3 a.m. candle, is we are going to do two things right out of the gate, and we're going to do this every single time. This is never going to change. We're going to place two horizontal lines on the 3 a.m. candle. The first horizontal line is going to be known as my entry buy. Now, I will let you know this, folks. The entry buy is going to be, let me type this out for you. The entry buy is going to be plus 10 pips above the high, okay? So it's going to be plus 10 pips above the 3 a.m. wick high. So if we take a look right here, we're going to move this plus 10 pips above. And that is going to bring us to right about there. Now, if we take a look at, if we measure pips, you'll notice that we are right at 10 pips, right? Everyone see that? So once again, that is going to be the entry buy. Now, the next thing we're going to do is we're going to place another horizontal line at the bottom of that candle, and that's going to be minus 5 pips below. So let's drop that down 5 pips right there. Now, here's what I want you to know, that this horizontal line, this is going to be known as our entry sell. Now, there we go. Entry sell is going to be minus 5 pips below the 3 a.m. wick low. Never going to change. We're going to do this every single time right out of the gate, all right? So everyone with me so far? Entry buy, entry sell. Now, remember, we are not in the market buying or selling yet, okay? These are nothing more than pending orders. I want you to understand that. So we're not buying or selling, they're pending orders. Now, what we're going to do is we are going to wait for the market to either move up or move down, whichever zone. And when I say zone, whether my entry buy zone or my entry sell zone, whichever horizontal line is hit first, is going to indicate if I'm going to buy or if I'm going to sell. Now, folks, question, did we cross into our entry buy or our entry sell? Okay, we crossed into our entry buy zone, right? So I am immediately going to go ahead and mark that. And by the way, for those of you, just to kind of, so it's a little bit easier to keep track of this, I'm going to put an orange arrow next to the 3 a.m. candle, okay, right there. And also, you'll notice that the market did in fact cross into the entry buy zone right there. So what we're going to do now is we are looking to, in fact, buy the market. Now, what we're going to do, okay, there's a couple things we're going to do before we do anything else, and it's very, very simple to understand. I want you to take a look at this, all right? The moment we identify that we are looking to buy, we are immediately, first and foremost, first thing we're going to do is we're going to basically, excuse me, we're going to mark this, all right? So our entry buy now officially becomes our market buy, okay? Next thing we're going to do is our entry sell, okay? It's gone. We are now going to set up our stop. Now our stop is going to be placed at the 3 a.m. wick low. Okay, so once again, the stop, if you don't know what a stop is, understand that a stop is designed to protect you. If you're buying and the market goes down, it'll take you out, okay? Now, my stop's going to be at the 3 a.m. wick low, so that's going to be right there. And the next thing I want you to know, and let me just go ahead and type this out. So my stop is going to be at the 3 a.m. wick low. Now, how many pips am I going after? Well, what we're going to do now, folks, is we are now going to measure what our risk is, okay? So how many of you can tell me how many pips am I risking? Okay, how many pips am I risking? Who can tell me? 83 pips, right? Now, for those of you that want to risk 83 pips, you can do that. You can do a 1-to-1. However, if you also want to do a 2-to-1, you can do that as well. Now, when we get you into the different strategies, when we get you into the live sessions where we talk about multiple strategies, including the one in Breakout, we're going to teach you different ways and methods of what we're doing, why we're doing what we're doing, and where if you want to personally, okay, put a risk to reward where, look, you know what, you're risking half of that, you can do that. And so, for instance, if I go ahead and I advance the market forward, here's what I want each and every one of you to take a look at, all right? Does the market move in an upward direction, yes or no? Does everybody see that, yes or no? Did the market move up? Now, I want you all to take a look at this. Ready? If the market, now look how many pips the market moved. The market moved, how many pips did the market move in the upward direction? It moved up 111 pips, right? Now, I want you to take a look at this. If we were to go ahead and set our stop at the 3 a.m. wick low, then we would be risking 83 pips, right? So our risk would be 83 pip risk. Now, our reward, okay, understand this. If our risk is 83 and we decided to go with an 83 pip reward, which you can obviously do that because once again, like I said, a lot of times what you can do is a 1-to-1. Now, if I decided to go after 83 pips, take a look here, okay, that would bring me to roughly, that would bring me to the 162 point. So that would basically bring me right there to the top of that candle. Everyone see that? Now take a look at this. If my reward, okay, take a look real quickly. If my reward was right there, and we're going to call this is our 83 pip reward, plus 83 pips reward, which obviously turned into a profit, right? So if we're up 83 pips, that would equate to $830 profit, and it took how many hours? 1, 2, 3, 4 hours to fulfill that. Now, folks, question. Type in a Y for yes in the chat box if you would be pretty excited if you were able to enter into the market, set yourself up with a stop, set yourself up with a limit, and then you go back to bed. Because listen, a lot of you are saying, my gosh, this is early in the morning. I don't know if I can wake up. I don't know about staying up this, Number one, you're not staying up this late, okay? Number two, would you all be okay with waking up in the morning, setting yourself up, going back to sleep, and letting the market take its course, right? And once again, that's what you have to, and by the way, somebody's asking, when was this? This was yesterday or the day before. Okay, this was the day before yesterday. All right, now, what I want to do is if we go ahead and advance the market forward, all right, I want to show you one more thing here, and then I'm going to kind of move on to the next thing. By the way, how am I doing on time? All right, I got about 15 minutes left. All right, I kind of forgot about the time thing. So I'm not used to having a 45-minute time frame. I'm used to like having a couple hours. So let's get going here. Okay, now let's go ahead and go to today. But is everybody with me? Type in a Y for yes. If everyone's with me so far, if it's making sense, obviously you have questions, and I respect that fully. Okay, but is everyone with me so far? Okay. So what I want to do now is let's go ahead and go to this morning. All right, and that is going to bring us to right there. All right, now I want everyone to take a look right here, and I want everyone to take a look at what's happening and what we're doing. I'm going to delete everything on the screen. I want to back this up. And by the way, for those of you that are saying, is this today? Yes. Okay, this is live market. Can't go any further. We're going to look at this morning and what took place. Now, what we're going to do now is we're going to look to identify the 3 a.m. candle. Now, here is the 3 a.m. candle. Everybody see that? Okay, 3 a.m. candle, today. Now, once again, we're going to do two things. It's never going to change. It's going to be the same thing every single time. We're going to place two horizontal lines. The first one's going to be, okay, the entry buy, which is going to be plus 10 pips above So that's going to be right there, plus 10 pips above. The entry sell is going to be minus 5 pips below. That's going to be right there. And I want you all to remember that right here, right now, we simply have, okay, once again, entry buy is going to be plus 10 pips above the high. And then we have our entry sell, which is minus 5 pips below the low. Now, next thing, we're going to advance the market forward and we're going to wait for the market to take its course. Remember, we're waiting to see, does the market cross our entry buy or our entry sell? Now, let's take a look. Okay, it's almost like a close call. Did the market, folks, cross into our entry buy or our entry sell? Who can tell me? It's a close call, I know. But believe it or not, this market crossed into our entry sell. So we know that we are looking to short the market, okay, right there. Now remember, folks, remember this, okay? Our entry sell is now going to turn into our market sell, okay? Our entry buy goes away. They were nothing more than pending orders, remember, okay? Now, we're going to place our stop. Now listen, our stop is going to be plus 5 pips above the 3 a.m. wick high. All right? We're going to place our stop plus 5 pips above our 3 a.m. wick high. That's going to be, our stop's going to be right there. Okay? Now, once again, let's go ahead and change this to red. Right there. And the next thing I'm going to do is I'm going to measure what am I risking, right? So what is our risk right here? Who can tell me? Our risk is about 87 pips. Y'all see that? Now take a look at this. If I advance the market forward, I want to ask all of you a very, very simple question, okay? With the strategy at hand, with what I'm showing you, and with everything, because once again, I'm not the one to sit here and show you all wins or all loss, all wins and no losses. I want you to understand, folks, that you're not going to necessarily win every single trade. If anyone tells you that you're going to, they're going to teach you how to trade where you're never going to lose, they're lying to you, folks. But if I was able to show you back test results on this, where literally the last, if I take the last 3 months and show you how many wins have taken place, and basically the completely supersedes, right, the amount of losses, how many of you believe this is something that you could do and apply and learn if you honestly found the value in it and you really started to understand what we're doing? And so, once again, you can apply this to buy or sell strategies. Now, I know I got about 12 minutes left, and what I want to do right now is I want to go ahead and just kind of show you something real quick. And what I want to do is I want to go ahead and I'm going to leave this right here, okay? And what I want to do right now is I'm going to go ahead and bring up the pound Aussie. Now, as I pull up the pound Aussie, let's go to today, for instance, and let's take a look. Now, without getting too detailed, obviously because of time, does everybody agree that this is a 3 a.m. candle? All right, does everyone see this candle right here, 3 a.m., right? All right, now, remember, I'm not going to get into the details, okay, because like I said, we have about 12 minutes left, but we're going to set up our entry buy, our entry sell. And as I advance the market forward, I want to ask all of you a question. Did the market move? Since this morning, take a look, is it safe to say that the market did in fact cross into our entry buy zone? Yes or no? Okay, it did, right? It crossed into our entry buy zone. We looked to buy, and folks, let me ask you a question. Did the market move up at the minimum 50 pips? Yes or no? All right, so that was, once again, a winner. Now, I'm not going to put 57 pips. I'm just going to put plus 50 pips or 500 US dollars profit, and that took about 4 to 5 hours. So once again, in 4 to 5 hours. Now, if I go ahead and we move back to yesterday, okay, I'm going to move back to yesterday. Let's go to the other 3 a.m. candle. And I'm going to take us, let's go ahead and identify where that is. So we're looking for the 27th once again. All right. So once again, take a look right here. If we back this up, there it is, the 27th, 3 a.m. Folks, question to each and every one of you. Did the market move down? Number one, did it enter our entry buy zone or entry sell zone? Who can tell me? Entry buy, entry sell. It crossed into our entry sell zone, right? Now, did the market move at the least, did it move at least 50 pips, yes or no? Did it move at least 50 pips? It did, right? So once again, if you look at yesterday, that was another one, once again, another winner. Now, the one that I showed you, not the last one, but the one before that, that was actually a losing trade. And the reason I did that is because I don't want you to think that I'm showing you everything that is a winner, okay? But if you were able to have way more wins than losses, how many of you find value in this and believe this is something that could honestly be of value to you, yes or no? All right, and that was in literally 2 hours that took place. So moral of the story, folks, the market's going to move in an upward or downward direction. There's a reason to it, okay? There's a method and a reason for all of this, especially on the pound crosses. And if you apply this to the pound crosses and you're able to see these type of results, how many of you believe, once again, this is something that you can learn? And so this is why I love the Forex market. This is the opportunity behind it. And folks, let me tell you something. There's a lot more to learn than just what I showed you. That's just one strategy of multiple strategies. So we had one loser, but since yesterday to today, okay, let's just say we had one loser, we had 3 winners, so that's $1,000 profit on top of the $830, close to $2,000 on 2 pairs alone in the last 2 days that I showed you. Once again, that's the beautiful thing about it. Now, let's go ahead and move along so I don't run out of time here. And as I move along, folks, here's what I want you to understand. That honestly, performance matters. I personally, hey, Roxanne says, when do you sleep? You go to sleep as soon as you wake up at 3 a.m., you set yourself up, you go right back to bed because you're protected, okay? But we believe in performance, folks. Results absolutely matter. I can literally sit here for the next hour showing you testimonials and results. I'm not going to because of time, but take a look at our students. You know, Thomas says, I made $4,500 in my first week. Anthony says, I would say about a month after I started to see a return on my investment. An average month of trading, I'm making 3,000 plus pips. Peter Cook says, I did Josh's pound Aussie. It took me to the limit just as he said. I didn't move my stop or fiddle with the plan. I just bought, set my stop limit, left it alone, and now it was spot on and it was good for 80 pips. Once again, Travis says still long on the pound CAD, up almost 700 pips. And I mean, like I said, I could sit here over and over and over again and just show you all type of results. However, because we have over 30,000 students, folks. But type in a Y for yes if you thought it was easy to follow, if you thought this was easy to obey, easy to execute, and imagine of having an income of $3,000 to $5,000 a month, especially, you know, to start with, you know. And so as we move along, folks, I want you to know that we're going to get you involved in multiple sessions live where you're going to actually be able to plug in with Josh and some other professional instructor traders where they are literally going to show you what they're doing. You're going to sit in step by step. You're going to be able to literally attend multiple sessions in a month's time and learn all these strategies that you can archive and use for the rest of your life. Now, even if you're trading a demo account, how many of you find the value of being able to plug in, even with a demo account, and actually applying this to see what it would be like if you were actually trading live? Now, typically, folks, and by the way, for those of you that are saying this is great, I will let you know that we're going to actually, I'm going to go ahead and get into the details of the education with a few minutes. I have about 6 minutes left. But before I do that, let me just show you what we're doing and how to get involved, and then I'll get into the details. But I don't want you to miss out on this opportunity, as it says on the screen, right? So typically, folks, if you were to plug in for a 30-day time frame, right, for 30 days with our professional analysts, multiple sessions, your risk-free investment is only $297. Literally, that's it. Compare that to the lessons you're learning, the things you're learning, walking away with, okay? However, for those of you that are saying, look, this is great, this is an investor inspiration, we're going to allow you to actually get involved, folks, for your first 30 days to experience this for just $27, and that is it. It's less than the cost of a lunch for 2. And at this time, what I'm going to ask Reed to do is, Reed, can you please, my friend, send out this link to each and every individual, and I will just take a look real quick to make sure you got that, and if you could send that out, my friend. And folks, the moment that Reed sends that out, I want to ask each and every one of you to actually, if you could please be so kind to click on that and let me know that the link is working just fine. It's taking you directly to the actual promo page. And once again, 27 bucks, you have absolutely nothing to lose, and that's all you got to do, okay? So once again, I see Taz and many others are asking for the link. So once again, Reed, okay, there it is. So everyone, Reed just sent out the link. Take a look in the chat box. Click that. Please do so for me to let me know that you see everything just fine. And that's all you got to do. 27 bucks, folks. You're not committing to 12 months. You're not committing to 6 months. You're simply committing to 30 days. And guess what? You're going to laugh at what I'm about to tell you next. And I almost laughed at this too, because I was like, are you serious? If you don't like what you're a part of, you can literally get your money back, your $27 back within your first 30 days. You can literally attend 29 days, 30 days of this, okay? Like for real, attend 29 days of it. And if you're like, I got all the details, but not for me, yes, we'll refund your money, okay? I mean, at 27 bucks, you know what I mean? But once again, that's how confident we are, okay? So let me go ahead and move on. I got about 4 minutes left. And here's the deal. Let me go over what you're going to actually get with this. You are going to get 8 live market online Forex sessions per month with 2 of MTI's analysts, okay? In these live market online sessions, you're going to learn directly from our analysts. You're going to learn how to mimic their success. You're going to learn multiple strategies, not just one breakout session, okay? These sessions are literally, some of them are literally, a couple hours long. One of them is even 4 hours long, and so you're going to learn how past history repeats future profit potential, discover ROI boosting strategies to accelerate your trading account, pick their brain in live Q&A sessions. You're also going to get 1 Forex market preview video each week, so you will gain exclusive access to the market analysis they do on a weekly basis and the possible scenarios they're going to be looking at for that week and the following week as well. It'll also include an email reminder every single week, letting you know and reminding you. And if for whatever reason you can't attend it, you will get recorded replays plus ongoing access to the professional traders so that you never miss a beat, you never miss a session, okay? Now, just for getting involved for 27 bucks, I got about 2 minutes left. This is actually mind-boggling. Yes, 27 bucks, that's it. Yes, 30 days, but just for getting 30-day risk-free, but just for getting involved, we're going to actually give you 4 bonuses. Bonus 1 is 30 days free of our MTI's VIP Analyst On Demand service. This is where every single day you're able to plug into an exclusive live portal, okay, exclusive to our students only, where our traders are literally telling you every day what they're doing, what they're trading, giving it to you on a silver platter, saying here's the currencies, this is where to get in, this is where to get out, here's what you want to do. Like giving it to you on a silver platter, okay? It's a lot, I know, for 27 bucks, but we're doing it, okay? Bonus 2 is an introduction to currency trading, 4 Forex lessons by MTI. Bonus 3 is a profit plan consultation call, and bonus 4 is 10K successful Forex trading ebook by no other than Jared Martinez, okay? So once again, folks, that's the deal. I mean, literally, it's 27 bucks. That's it, all right? You have 30-day, 100% money back guarantee. Doesn't get any better than that. But guys, I'm basically wrapped up. I got 1 more minute left. Let me see if I missed anybody's questions. And by the way, do me a favor. Type in a Y for yes or type in the word me if you're taking advantage of this. Just letting me know, okay? I just want to kind of congratulate you real quick. If you're taking action, you're moving forward, you're going to give this a shot, just let me know. And like I said, folks, you have absolutely nothing to lose. If anything, you got a ton of freebies, and you got to at least experience this and see if it was for you or not. And I see a ton of you are typing in yes, 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 me, Wendy, Masa, Stenar, Noah, congratulations, Ricky, and everybody else, Sheila, Linda, all right, Paul, Chris, I see a lot of your questions as well. Hey, so guys, I will go ahead and be on standby, Stephen as well, Lewis. So if any of you have any questions, I'm going to ask Reed to please not kick me out. I will be on the chat. I'll be on standby. I'll be sure not to end the webinar. Don't worry, Reed. But I will be on standby to answer any of your questions and get the link out to you as well once again. And I think I am right on time. So once again, thanks, everybody. I will send the link out one more time. And last thing, okay, I'm done. But last thing, if for whatever reason you're having any issues with the link whatsoever, okay, please understand, folks, that typically the solution to that is try a different web browser, all right? Literally, that's it. Try a different web browser, and typically that's really the problem, is just try a different web browser, Google Chrome, Firefox, Safari, whatever, but that's typically the solution to it, all right? So thanks for your time, everybody. I'm basically done. Reed, thanks for your time, my friend. I am ready to bring you back on, and I'm good to go. Thanks, everybody.